What's up? I'm not Sanders. This is Mark Jones at BlackStang1302 on Twitter. Now, I was going to do a video on best backup quarterbacks in the NFL, but it's still early and not every team knows who their starter is. So it's just going to be a list on all quarterbacks in the NFL. Now, it is not going to be a list on where quarterbacks will be ranked at the end of the season, or projected for the end of the season. It's going to be where are they currently right now. For example, Baker Mayfield, a lot of people are saying could be a top 5 quarterback this year. He will not be in the top 5 because he has no track record. He has literally been 1 year in the league. Where does he rank currently against today's quarterbacks? First on my list is going to be Nathan Peterman. What good can you say about Nathan Peterman? Well, he has started a handful of games in the NFL, which is more than some people, but he's never had success. Now, John Gruden has talked very highly of Nathan Peterman on multiple occasions, and if I'm Derek Carr, I'm watching out with what's going on in Oakland. Next on my list, Matt Schaub. Matt Schaub has played in 7 games in the last 3 seasons. He has thrown 10 passes and completed 6. Now, he is on the list because he's a backup quarterback on the Atlanta Falcons, but that's really all I can say. Next on my list is going to be Chad Haney. Chad Haney is the backup on Kansas City and really a true clipboard holder. I don't think he's going to see much playing time unless they're way up very late in the season. All right, Deshaun Kaiser follows him. Deshaun Kaiser is the backup for the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers, no, they don't need a good backup because of their starting quarterback, but should their starting quarterback go down, this is a player that was thought to be drafted first or second overall in his draft, and he has not done anything in this draft class. All right, let's see. Who's next? We got Tom Savage. Tom Savage is the backup quarterback for the Detroit Lions. He's a very capable spot starter, but I don't think he's going to get much playing time with the very durable Matt Stafford in front of him. Following up, Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones really should be higher on this list, but with Eli Manning, I don't think he's going to get much playing time because the Giants are so in love with Eli Manning. Robert Griffin III is next. Robert Griffin III should really be higher on this list, but significant leg injuries has really plagued his career. Now, I'm very excited to see if the Ravens use him in a kind of a wild card role, but he is a true mentor for young Lamar Jackson up there in Baltimore. All right, into the 40s now. Trevor Siemian, he's going to be the backup for the Jets this year. Now, I had to look that one up because I didn't know, but couldn't even play through his rookie contract. That's why he is this low on the list. All right, Paxton Lynch, another young quarterback that could not play through their rookie contract. What does that say about them? He's going to be the backup for the Seattle Seahawks this year, and I kind of like it for him as a career move because his style of play is very similar to Russell Wilson's. Number 47, Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins, he's had a lot of success throwing the ball. The yards don't always go into scores, and you need to score points in order to win. Now, of course, Kyle Shanahan has a large part to do with that. Next up on the list is Mike Glennon. Mike Glennon backing up for the Oakland Raiders this season. Now, Mike Glennon tried being a starter on the Bears, and he just wasn't ready to be a starter. But he did have some success filling in for Jameis Winston when he was on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I wouldn't be surprised if Carr goes down, if he has 1 or 2 good weeks. But then again, John Gruden is very high on Nathan Peterman. Colt McCoy next on the list. Colt McCoy, he's a very capable spot starter. He got injured last year for the Redskins. His problem is he can only roll out to his right, which really, I mean, to be in the NFL, you got to be able to make all the throws and to be able to roll out both ways in case of emergency. 44 on the list, Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater backing up for Drew Brees, and I'd like to see Sean Payton use him more than he did last year, maybe as like a wildcat quarterback. But again, with the leg injury he suffered, he really hasn't been given an opportunity, and I don't think he will ever really be given an opportunity to be a starter in the NFL. All right, Blake Bortles. Yeah, Blake, we tried starting for a while. Very sad. What can you say? He loves to run the ball, but can't throw it. Durable, very durable, but maybe a backup quarterback in this league will best suit you. I mean, it's kind of sad because he was, I believe, drafted fifth overall, but the Jaguars have never had a franchise quarterback, so we'll see. Following up Blake Bortles, another former Jacksonville wannabe franchise quarterback, Blaine Gabbert. Now, ever since leaving Jacksonville, Blaine Gabbert has shown that he wants to be a starter in this league, and last year playing for the Tennessee Titans, he started a game or two for him, and he put his team in the best position to win. Now, will he be able to do this should Tampa Bay sit Jameis Winston? Yeah. Maybe pick him up a week or two in fantasy if you have no other options. 41. Drew Lock. Drew Lock, he's only so low because, again, he hasn't played a snap in the NFL, but when will Joe Flacco be benched and Drew Lock be given the opportunity? Now, if it's me, I am just sitting a rookie quarterback all year because Joe Flacco is a very capable quarterback in the NFL. Number 40, Chase Daniels, second career clipboard holder on this list. Now, most all these guys will be holding clipboards this season, but, Chase Daniels, he loves holding that thing. Now, he started 2 games for the Chicago Bears last year. He went 1-1, but he did beat Eli Manning, which was a huge win for the Bears, and then the second game, he just couldn't get them down to score at the end. But, he is just somebody that can, hold down the clipboard and really mentor a young quarterback. Into the 30s now, and taking his talents to the Houston Texans, A.J. McCarron. A.J. McCarron, now he was going to be the starter last year for the Buffalo Bills, but the Buffalo Bills, he got injured. He either tore his ACL or broke his arm. Maybe he broke his kneecap. I don't exactly recall, but he had like a season-ending injury in the preseason, which held him out all year. And it's a shame that we didn't get to see him start because a lot of people were very high on him coming out of Alabama as not necessarily an NFL-ready quarterback, but a guy that could one day become like not necessarily a franchise quarterback, but a guy that's very capable to lead a team for many years. All right, Josh Rosen. Now, this is the first quarterback of the 2018 draft, and he's actually not even on his team that he was drafted by. The Cardinals, they didn't like what they saw, so they ended up trading him to the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins, now, he has an opportunity to start at quarterback. They have a true quarterback competition up there. But if I'm Miami, I am making him the backup and letting him learn how to read the defense and whatnot before I give him the opportunity to start next season. Okay, there are 32 teams in the NFL, and number 37, our first starting quarterback, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is this low because being a quarterback, he's not a good thrower, and that's why he is this low, even though he's a starter. And on a very small sample size, he has won games. Now, team success more so than individual success, but wins don't lie, or ball don't lie. Now, Lamar Jackson could easily shoot way higher up this list, but on such a small sample size is why he is this low. But young quarterback could seriously improve. Wow, 2 starting quarterbacks in a row before we get to 32 teams. Now, Eli Manning. Eli Manning is so low on this list. Don't get mad at me, but he's done. He really should not be a starting quarterback in the NFL anymore. Now, the Giants are in love with him. Okay, yes, he's had success, but what have you done for me lately? Which is why he is this low on the list. All right, number 35. Jacoby Brissett. Now, Jacoby Brissett is going to be Andrew Luck's backup this year. Jacoby Brissett, he's won a large amount of games as really a spot starter. Now, Jacoby Brissett, he's kind of interesting because he's not a true passer, he's not a true runner. He just kind of goes out there and leads a team. At 35, a guy that I would not mind starting in a must-win game. Number 34, Dwayne Haskins. I am a big fan of benching a rookie quarterback the first season so they learn how to read a defense and they don't struggle as a rookie. But with a true quarterback competition there, if I'm the Redskins, I am starting Dwayne Haskins because they're a win now team and they don't have much going for them at the position. But we'll see what Jay Gruden does with him. Number 33. Now, this is my pick for, after the 32 teams, this is my pick for the best backup quarterback to start should you need another guy. That man is Brian Hoyer. Brian Hoyer, he's literally been a backup his whole career, except he had a couple starts with the Houston Texans, who did not want to start him. He started, I believe it was the first week of the season. They signed him to like a 3-year deal, and the head coach was like, I want to give this other guy a shot. Brian Hoyer hasn't really been given an opportunity to be a full-fledged starter in the league because of the Houston Texans coach at the time. But he's a guy that could lead a team. And, you know, he has had success as a backup quarterback in the NFL. 32. Kyler Murray. He's at the 32nd position because we haven't seen what he can do. Now, a lot of people think for fantasy purposes he's going to be a silent killer because of what he can do, both throwing the ball deep down the field and also rushing the ball. Now, this isn't fantasy, which is why he is at 32nd, but give the guy a shot. Let's see what he can do. I'm very excited to see what him and Johnson in the backfield looks like. 31, Derek Carr. Now, I want Derek Carr much, much, much lower on this list because he has not been the same since his broken knee. But, you know, there's not that many good quarterbacks in this league. Now, Derek Carr, he might lose his starting job because the Oakland Raiders don't owe him anything. And John Gruden has said on multiple occasions he likes Nathan Peterman. He traded for Nathan Peterman. So Derek Carr is going to have to, literally play for his job. Number 30, the starting quarterback for the New York Jets, Sam Darnold. Now, I believe Sam Darnold will be a successful quarterback in the NFL, but he had too many interceptions last year, but a lot of people like his poise in the pocket. He reminds me of more kind of a poor man's Ben Roethlisberger. He'll stand in that pocket as long as he possibly can, taking a couple of hits, but he has a much better rollout, more kind of like Joe Flacco, actually. Joe Flacco is a poor man's Ben Roethlisberger, so I guess right now a poor man's Joe Flacco, I guess. But Sam Darnold could... it's going to be very interesting seeing his sophomore season because he did have some success. I mean, he had a lot of interceptions, but he had his command in the pocket and whatnot. All right, going into the 20s, we got Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, former Super Bowl MVP. Former MVP. Did he win MVP too? No, he did not. It was just Super Bowl MVP. Well, anyways, he's so low on this list because he's up there in age. I mean, this is the last year on his contract. I don't think he wants to be a backup, so I think this is kind of his swan song season. Now, I like Joe Flacco, and I think he's going to do a lot of good things for the win now Denver Broncos. But again, we'll see what Vic Fangio does. He's a defensive-minded coach, but he might want to throw the young quarterback in there instead. All right, now let's go on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers starter, Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston. Why are you a starter in the NFL? You have not been good person off the field. You have not been a good person on the field. Oi, Tampa Bay. You're giving him one last shot. Why? I guess he's got the talent, but he's so low on this list because of all the extracurriculars. Plus, he loves giving the ball to the other team, which is why he's this low on the list. Number 27, Case Keenum. Now, Case Keenum is probably going to be the starting quarterback for the Washington affiliate to the NFL, Washington Redskins. But he had a lot of success a couple of seasons ago with the Minnesota Vikings. Didn't quite translate over to the Denver Broncos, which is why he finds himself playing for Jay Gruden in Washington now. It's going to be very interesting to see this win now Washington Redskins team, what Jay Gruden has to do with Case Keenum. Number 26. All right. So 25 and 26 can really go either way, but I'm putting Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota, this low. He's had a lot of leg injuries in his career. He can't stay healthy for a full season. But talented. He threw a touchdown to himself in a playoff game that ended up being the game-winning touchdown. As a Chiefs fan, I was in tears. But anyways, again, so low because really not the type of success that a top two. I believe he was drafted 2 in his draft class. One of the first quarterbacks taken for sure, and he's this low because you can't rely on him. All right, 25 is Ryan Tannehill of the same draft class, I believe. No, it might have been the year after. Well, anyways, Ryan Tannehill is probably going to be the starter for the Tennessee Titans. Sorry, Marcus Mariota. But anyways, they signed him. They signed him to be the starter. Now, of course, that's also to drive a wedge into Marcus Mariota to try to get more out of him, quarterback competition. Now, Ryan Tannehill, so low on this list because very good quarterback, okay? Really the best quarterback on this list. Now, he did have a torn ACL a couple seasons ago and really hasn't played much since, but former wide receiver, he is a good thrower. But his more talented running the ball and being a quarterback, you don't want to be running the ball. You want to be throwing the ball because, pass interference calls these days, and it's a lot easier to throw the ball than it is to run the ball. But to have the option of legs is very, very good. Up to 24 now, we have Ryan Fitzpatrick. Now, probably going to be the starter. At least he's going to open the season for the Miami Dolphins. We'll see what their coaching staff wants to do with Josh Rosen because the front office traded for Josh Rosen, and we'll see how much patience they have with Ryan Fitzpatrick. But Ryan Fitzpatrick's had a very successful NFL career. He's bounced around, but he loves throwing the deep ball, and some of the best deep ball receivers in the NFL play for the Miami Marlins. Sorry, not the Miami Marlins. I'm in full baseball season, guys. I'm sorry, Miami Dolphins. Now, I would start him all season because he could give you a shot to make the playoffs, but because the AFC is a little weak this year compared to the NFC, in my personal opinion. But I like a lot of what Ryan Fitzpatrick does. He is really, I guess he'd kind of classify as a career backup quarterback, but he is one of the highest on my list as a backup. All right, number 23, Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor is the number one option on this list for backup quarterback. This is my last backup quarterback on this list. Tyrod Taylor really should have been the starter for the Cleveland Browns last year, but they wanted to give Baker Mayfield a shot, which, I mean, go for it, because he had a lot of success last season. Tyrod Taylor is the best quarterback in recent franchise history for the Buffalo Bills. They went, I believe, 17 or 19 years. I believe it was 17 years of playoff drought, and Tyrod Taylor was the man who brought them there. And their front office didn't know what they were doing because they started in the middle of a playoff hunt. I believe there was 4 weeks left in the regular season. They put Nathan Peterman in as the starter. We all know he had 5 interceptions in the first half of that game. Tyrod Taylor came in and turned it around. I believe they ended up winning that game. But Tyrod Taylor is going to be the backup for Phillip Rivers this season, and I mean, it's kind of a shame because I'd like to see him as a starter in this league because I think he is very capable. He has the best deep ball in the league, and he's got the legs to escape when for a big play, momentum swinging play when he's got the ball. 22, Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings fans, don't get mad at me. I mean, when you look at all the other quarterbacks on this list, you really can't put him above any of them. He's got a terrible record against teams with an above 500 record. He has played in playoff games, though, but a lot of people said the Minnesota Vikings were a quarterback away from being a dynasty, so they went out and paid Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins has not been their guy. Now, I believe Kirk Cousins is going to have a very successful season for Minnesota this year. He's this low because he didn't have it last year, and his record against above 500 teams. I'm putting Matt Stafford a notch above Kirk Cousins because Matt Stafford, what have you done for me lately? He's looking a lot more like Jay Cutler than Peyton Manning. He has a very successful fourth quarter. Very successful fourth quarterback. He's one of the guys that I would choose him above most people to drive my team down on the last drive. But what have you done for me lately? You're getting up there in age, and you really haven't done anything. No playoff wins. Of course, you're the Detroit Lions, and you've lost your last 9 playoff games that you've played. But we love seeing you play every Thanksgiving. Speaking of every Thanksgiving, the Dallas Cowboys quarterback lies at 20. I know there's a lot of Dallas Cowboys fans out there, but the problem with your team, other than Jerry Jones, is Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is a play option quarterback, and if Ezekiel Elliott is not playing this season, it's going to be very rough for Dak Prescott, who is a very poor decision maker with the football in his hand. Into the teens, I got Josh Allen at 19. I believe Josh Allen is going to have a very successful NFL career. He's a winner. He puts his team in the best position to win, doesn't turn the ball over as a young quarterback, which is pretty impressive. I believe he's going to be the best quarterback in his division, the AFC East, once Tom Brady retires, which is going to be a couple seasons away now. But yeah, I'm very high on Josh Allen, and I think he would be a good dark horse fantasy quarterback this season. Number 18, Mitch Trubisky. Now, Mitch Trubisky was a very difficult place on this list because he's had a lot more team success than individual success. He gets praised a lot more for his running skills than his throwing skills, and you do not want a quarterback that is a primary runner. Not saying that Mitch is a primary runner, but when he is under pressure, he does look to run before throwing. Now, this is year 3 for him, and if he could get a deep ball, it'll really jump his career. It would jump him up on this list a lot, but he has struggled throwing the deep ball in his career. Number 17, Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo, another very, very, very difficult place because he really has a small sample size, but he has won a significant amount of games since he's got a very good record since joining Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers. Now, he could fly up this list. He could drop way off on this list, seeing what he does this season. Number 16, Nick Foles. Nick Foles is my guy. I've been a Nick Foles fan from the beginning. 27-2 touchdown to interception ratio, his first season on the Eagles. But again, his following season, he breaks his collarbone. He's not really been given the opportunity to start since he's been on the since he left the Eagles the first time. But anyways, Super Bowl MVP, this is the first time he's going to be given the opportunity to be a full-fledged starter since Jeff Fisher decided he did not want him to be the quarterback, even though he traded for him. Jacksonville, they were a win-now team. In order to sign him, they got rid of half their defense, but I'd still say they're a win-now team. They were missing a quarterback. Blake Bortles could not get it done for them, so he's going to be a very interesting watch. Another dark horse fantasy quarterback who I am probably taking because my philosophy is never take a top quarterback in fantasy because you can find a guy. Number 15, I got Baker Mayfield. Now, I believe Baker Mayfield, with what the Cleveland Browns front office did to help out a young quarterback, I believe he's going to fly up this list from number 15. But he has to be at 15 because he's only played one season. He doesn't have a track record. Who knows? Sophomore slump. But I believe he's going to skyrocket up this list for next season. But right now, 15 is a very comfortable fit for him. Number 14, I have Jared Goff. Jared Goff was a very difficult place on this team too, or on this list, but I had to put him 15. I do not think he is making the decisions on where the ball goes because his completion percentage is like 86% to his first target. His second read is like below 50%. So I do not believe it's him making decisions, but he does put up numbers. Of course, that is also team success, not necessarily individual success. Number 13, I have Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton, a number of years ago, could have been argued for a top 10 quarterback. 13 is a very comfortable spot for him, but this is kind of that Matt Stafford, what have you done for me lately? Now, he throws the ball. They don't have as strong of a run game that they used to, but I believe that Andy Dalton's going to have a very productive season this year. I believe he's on a contract year, and I'm actually excited to look at this Cincinnati Bengals team because they really want to make the playoffs this year because they've missed it, I believe, the last 2 seasons, and they were previously a perennial playoff team. It's going to be interesting to see Andy Dalton this season. I'm just going to throw in an honorable mention of Alex Smith because if Alex Smith he might not play again because of his significant leg injury he suffered last year, but he would be in this spot if he was able to play this season for the Washington Redskins. Now, a winner, he's been to the playoffs more times in his career than most teams. Doesn't turn the ball over. I could talk about Alex Smith all day. A lot of people don't think he's a good quarterback because he was like the number 1 overall pick, but he has had a lot of success in this NFL. Number 12, I have Cam Newton. Now, Cam Newton a couple seasons ago was a top 10 quarterback. This is, again, what have you done for me lately type of scenario. Now, the offense for Carolina hasn't been as good as it has previously been. Playmakers, Devin Funchess just could not get the job done for them. But, you know, he's more of a power runner. He's got the legs, but he's just not in a bad way, like I was saying about previous quarterbacks on this list. But he's just so big. He's like a fullback running the ball compared to a running back. So he falls to 12 on this list because I don't know. He missed the playoffs the last couple seasons. He's had some off-field injuries, so he's not necessarily taking care of himself off the field. But he did do a super diet this offseason, so he could if he have a very successful season. But he's never going to be the MVP that he once was. Number 11, Matt Ryan. Atlanta fans, don't scream. Matt Ryan, not a top 10 quarterback, because the first 8 weeks of the season, he's a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. The last 8 weeks of the regular season, he's a bottom 3 quarterback in the NFL. Why does a switch flip halfway through the season for Matt Ryan and he decided to just turn the ball over? I don't know, which is why he is here at number 11. He should be lower, but he has won an MVP. Number 10, Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, very successful quarterback. He broke a record last year where he had like over 450 yards in 3 straight games. Now, he's got plenty of playmakers, but his offensive line is terrible. I really hope that the Houston Texans helped him out this offseason. They did draft a few offensive linemen, but we'll see if they can do it. Now, inside the top 10, I have Carson Wentz at number 9. Now, Carson Wentz was the most difficult place on this list. I love his style of play. He's like a hybrid between Russell Wilson and Alex Smith, 2 guys that don't turn over the ball and put their team in the best position to win. Now, the Eagles are set up better with a pocket passer like Nick Foles, and that's one of the reasons why they had so much success with Nick Foles at quarterback in the playoffs. But Carson Wentz, he hasn't been outside of his rookie season. He has not been healthy for a full season, and but it's going to be very interesting this year with the changes in the backfield for the Philadelphia Eagles to see read option between Carson Wentz and a guy like Jordan Howard, because Wentz is kind of a sneaky runner when Jordan Howard is a power runner, and they really didn't have any continuity last year in the run game last season. Number 8, I got Daddy Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers at number 8. I mean, he really should be higher, but the guys in front of him are very good quarterbacks, so he fell to number 8. One of the most talented arms in the NFL. Loves throwing the ball, even though he's got that funky delivery. It's a win now team down there for the Chargers, and not the San Diego Chargers anymore. Yeah, they moved last year. I almost said it. They're the LA Chargers. But Carson Wentz, he's a win now quarterback. He has had very little playoff appearances, which one of the reasons why he falls to number 8. But it's kind of a last hoorah for Phillip Rivers until he wants to retire. But it's a win now team, so it's win or go home for him. Number 7, I got Big Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger falling number 7. Really, he was statistically the second best quarterback in fantasy last year, or in the NFL last year. But with age and contemplating retirement, he's at number 7. Now, Big Ben, I mean, he loves getting hit and then breaking away from 3 guys and throwing the ball downfield. But also losing Antonio Brown is going to be huge for him. Will Juju Smith-Schuster step up and be a true number 1 receiver? This all goes into effect. Number 6, I got Russell Wilson. It was really tough not making him a top 5 quarterback on this list because he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, he's been to the playoffs every year of his career except for one. He's won an MVP. No, he didn't win MVP. He's won a Super Bowl MVP, and he's been to 2 Super Bowls. Plenty of playoff wins. Down and out, no matter how much time's on the clock, no matter what the standings are, he's going to really try to bring his team to the playoffs, and has been. He's got a great deep ball. He's a great decision maker. He doesn't turn the ball over much, and he puts his team in the best position to win. Number 5, I got Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck, he was kind of a tough place because, I mean, he can't really not be a top 5 quarterback, but he's had injuries of late. But when healthy, he can do anything. He's a pocket passer, but he can also scramble. And again, he's another guy that puts his team in the best position to win. Doesn't make see the problem Andrew Luck has is he doesn't make many bad decisions, but if he does, it's in a critical moment, and it kind of like really puts a lot of stress on the defense. Number 4, Tom Brady. Yeah, Tom Brady, not top 3. That goes with age, but put him in the give me a quarterback for the playoffs. I'm pretty sure I'm taking Tom Brady every single time. What more can you say? Number 3, Patrick Mahomes. Wow, I've been watching lists on quarterbacks for the upcoming 2019-2020 NFL season, and Patrick Mahomes has been number 1 or 2 every year. You have him at 3. Wow. Well, I have to tell you, I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan, and this is literally a one-year wonder quarterback. I'm not saying he's bad at all. How can you? But he does not have a track record, which is why he is number 3. I'm super high on Patrick Mahomes, but the only thing I can say is he's not going to have a repeat season. He will not pass for 50 touchdowns and over 5,000 yards. It's been done 3 times in NFL history. He did it last year in his first year of the NFL. Don't forget, RG3 had won Rookie of the Year as soon as a defense learned how to play him. He ended up not being the starting quarterback anymore. They ended up starting Kirk Cousins instead, who Kirk Cousins is very low on this list. Number 1, 2 was very difficult. Number 2, I put Aaron Rodgers. Sorry, Green Bay fans. Yes, I am also a Bears fan, or I live in Chicago, so I'm sorry I couldn't put him number 1. But, what can you say? You can't say many things wrong, except he is a terrible human being. Great quarterback, terrible human being. All his close family and friends he wants nothing to do with his close family. And former girlfriends of his have all came out and said that they did not want to be with him because of his personality. But number 2 quarterback on this list in the NFL, so he's got that to go with it. Number 1, I put Drew Brees. Now Drew Brees is really old, but he had such a good season last year. He really should have won MVP. Kind of got jobbed out of that because of Patrick Mahomes' success, and he got jobbed out of the playoffs because of the call the refs made, the non-pass interference call. Biggest blown call in NFL history. Anyways, Drew Brees, if he has a season close to what he did last year, he'll be the best quarterback in the NFL. And it's also for him, it's kind of a last hoorah, because if he's not good this season, he's going to fall off this list. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much it. Like, subscribe. We're still new. We're trying to get some views and whatnot. But yeah, let me know what you think. I could talk quarterbacks all day. If you disagree, let me know. It's going to be all the Dallas Cowboy fans that are commenting on here. But thanks. Once again, follow me on Twitter, Blackstain1302. Like, subscribe, whatever. Bye. Thanks.